Now the main story is coming. Let me remember. So back in 2011, I was supposed to do business. I wanted to do transportation business. So there was this guy that had a fellowship. So I now went there with intention because I was supposed to buy. That was when keke came out newly. I wanted to buy keke and give to a stranger that I didn't know. So I was like, I don't even know how to okay, should I just give this guy this keke? They are from Akwa Ibom. I mean, I had business. I did business with both Ruben, Gabriel, God's Time. The first person was God's Time. He brought what's the other guy's name? He brought like 5 of these guys. I didn't even know where they lived, but I was doing business with them. I'll just buy and I'll give them a higher purchase at that time. Then keke was 750K, 800K. But let me fast forward to this ring thing. So then when I wanted to do that business, right? So I now had to okay, since there was this program, there was this pastor or prophet of a thing that my sister would always talk about based on her friend told her about that man in her memory. Right now she's late. So I said, okay, I think I'll just go there. Let me see, since the guy, they see prophet, let me see if there's going to be anything he will tell me about this business I'm about to do and the stranger I'm about to give my stuff to. So I'm talking about 2011. I now went to this church function. Before I went for that church function, there was this girl that my sister's neighbor had brought from the village. So all this juju thing, they said the girl, when she was baited or something, the mama been carrying and go their shrine, saying that she go be the blah, blah, blah of their shrine people. You know? So the girl don't grow now small. They can't carry the girl come city. The girl come there every day, she they get attacked. She go there like this. She go faint. Then they say then they drag her. She go see people waiting tie with red apron and all those things. They drag her back to the village. The other day, her auntie, as soon as her auntie came back, the auntie was going out and she made the turn and the girl was on the floor, on the ground, she don't buy. Say, as the auntie enter, come shout Jesus. Now, so the girl can't say, be like those people wait who her, can't leave her. Story they go. So when I went to my sister's house, my sister started telling me, that was when she had just newly gotten married. She now started telling me about, I think she had a baby then, about this house help, wahala. I'm going to say, make I carry the house help. Now, since I think it's an avenue now, more reason for me to take her to this brother, so this brother go deliver her. That's how I carry this girl, go, drive, go, where then they do the show, what's it called, the video. And then they, and you know what's up? You know they are show people. I don't even know. Show marks. I don't get to get going to do the show business. So, but anyway, I make a tell a story. So when we got there, the guy was praying. He was, prophesying. Just the talk. Me there for spirit said they pray seriously for that girl. May God deliver her, because I don't come on myself from my own work. I didn't go there. I don't begin to pray for the girl. I was praying for this girl. The guy was now moving around. He even walked past us and he touched the girl. He was touching people, laying hands on people's head. Somebody said I'm on speed. Okay. I talk fast. I try so hard every time not to be fast, but I talk fast. So the guy was busy laying hands on people and delivering people. A lot of things were going on. He passed, though. Be like, I don't even know that when he touched my head. I mean, no touch, but I know say he touched the girl they near me with the front shot. Nothing happened, though. I was like, okay. So after a few minutes, guy now paused. He now said, there are 7 people here. 7 people here. Should he mention names or numbers? You know what? He's going to mention numbers. I hear number 1. Now, so person shouts from the crowd there. Yeah! You know how the other drama they did. I'm sorry. So he shouts too. After they mention all those, count all those numbers. Now, so one people they shout from wherever they were. Even as when I fought, the guy reach you. Now, so me, I don't be from shout to. And it feels, I'm not gonna lie to you, right? That was the only deliverance I had in this life that I would think that I felt a difference. Because you don't get one way I go, where I stand outside. I think I just entered the country that period because they didn't near my house. But let me finish this particular one now. The reason why I'm saying is kind of, it felt real because I know there was one I had attended. I just entered the country. There was this church close to my house where they disturb me every day, make her come. So I go there, go dance. Any Sunday one won't dance. We be say right for road, not too good. I go park my car, enter there, go to dance. Because they sing very well. So this was not the day where they do one kind crusade or waiting. Now their members, they come they knock my door. Because the first way I go there, they give me drink, welcomed me, give me more. I be all those things they give me. I feel like I can't give them money, so I think I can't sweet them. That's why I can't go that one that day because they don't invite me. That's why I go there that day. This man just, I don't know where he say from Asaba or wherever I can come. I be Bayasa. And I was outside because it was hot. And I was wondering why people were like, it was so crowded. And I was out there. I had the hose on. I had a short skirt. And I had to wear my socks so mosquito no bite me. See me now. That's why I stand there. They look all of them. They do that and they do that. The man come in here. I thought it was a joke. I said, make I step backward. And I saw those their usher rushed me to come and drag me inside. But let me leave this particular joke, this particular story, because I almost sued that church. It's not that the pastor apologized to me. Let me go back to the one will be real. What things say real small. So, and I went back to, so when the guy now did that, I don't know where I came out. I don't know where I came out from the crowd. And the next thing, be like, I for ground, I find myself, If that's I want to say, at the point, it looked like I stood up trying to leave the place and they wouldn't let me go. They kind of held me and the guy held my stomach and was praying, spirit of snake, come on, blah, 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 blah. And it'd be like, say, they scream. I don't know whether they scream or not they scream, but that time I stubborn well. Hi. That time I stubborn. So from PH, I carry my brother passport. Then they go something. Doing visa there, carry and come back, one go born for house. Because say he annoy me. That time I stubborn. But that's by the way. So this man was praying. He held my stomach. Who are you? I did not say a word. Who are you? Okay. I don't say anything. So after all those things, it looked like when the whole thing was now calm. He now asked me, he now say, do you know why you do certain things you do sometimes? Like times like you hear voices that instruct you and tell you what to do and you must act upon it. Today, you've been delivered. And I could feel that I felt light after that deliverance. Number one, I felt light. Secondly, I lost my voice because I screamed a lot. It looked like I screamed a lot. So I lost my voice for so long, for more than 10 days. My voice was very coarse. Now, take it back to the one where they tell you where I go. Somebody take it.
Now, let me ask you a question. You felt light.
Yeah.
I felt light. Before that day, did you ever hear voices that used to make you do things? Or the pastor just made that part up?
Well, Daddy Freeze, I would say that deliverance, first of all, I wasn't even expecting. Okay, you know what? Daddy Freeze, let me ask you one question. Since you preach.
Yes.
You see these people that forget about show. Let's be real now. I know there are businessmen out there, right? You know the real people that undergo deliverance. You know how people just get dressed from their houses and attend the church function and program, and then they get delivered. The real ones. I know it's hard to differentiate, but what do you have to say about this? I mean, if they really had a demon in them and they went out to be delivered, or is it something that comes in and out that they don't even know? Because I would say if somebody has a demon in her and they're aware of it, why would they want to go to where they'll get delivered?
One. So it's a tough call. Nigeria has been filled with so much false spirituality that when you see the real one, you can't tell the difference. You understand what I'm telling you? Everything in Nigeria is God, 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 God. And the one that is not good is devil, 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 devil. So would I tell you that demonic powers do not exist? I cannot tell you that. Because even our African spirituality is hinged upon the fact that there are forces of good and evil. But you see, for you to see one real one, you will go through 1,000 fakes and another 10,000 deluded people. Let me explain something to you here. you are primed. Look at what was happening in the aeroplane. Have you ever seen, witnessed Oyinbo people's plane crash before?
So if you see turbulence, I went through this marathon. If you see turbulences, it was a lot. And people will stay calm. That's the thing.
That is it.
You see, and
Oyinbo people go calm.
I saw that record. You see that last crash.
Oyinbo people go they calm inside.
Exactly. Even the pilot, they've been trying to remain calm as. Did you see that recording? That plane that crashed there, I think 2011 or so, there was a record that was released, a recorded voice note of the pilots when they were communicating how fit they were going down. The one that actually really went down then that they talked about so long. I listened to that thing and I read the comment section and I saw how professional. And I saw people saying how pilots are trying to remain calm even in the darkest situations. They knew they were all going to buy and they buyed. They were going down that fast and they were still his voice, I mean, you could feel it. You say this is not why they come back from. Now they tell you see turbulences. Yes, but everybody was still calm. People were still, like we teach out
small shake like this.
And that tension is not good. It doesn't help the pilots.
It doesn't help the cabin crew because it makes them miss. Your shouting is putting them under more pressure. But let me explain what I mean is, abroad people are not trained to look for spirits. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Niger people are from small. They tell you, say, now your mama people, they do you. You are like this. So the average Nigerian man, if he make money for May, no make money for June, he go say spirits dead, warrior for June. So everything that happens to a Nigerian man is attributed to one type of spirituality or the other. Do you understand what I'm saying, Tolu? I say Tolu, Samaria. So you can't tell which one. Now, if an Oyinbo man, for instance, a British guy, a random British guy calls me and tells me that he freeze, I had a spiritual experience, I will tend to believe them because the likelihood for them to see something as spiritual is very low. Do you understand if I'm saying it or what I'm saying?
Well understood.
Look at the play. Jesus, forgive us. Oh, Jesus, help us. Jesus, help us. Jesus, help us. Jesus, that is the way we have been raised. So even non-spiritual issues are attributed to spirituality.
To spirituality. That's true.
So it is now very hard to tell which is real. That is why I don't take Nigerian people serious when they come and tell you they had a dream or somebody is doing you. I just see it as the usual Nigerian excuse for our foolishness. It's the way we were raised.
I agree.
And the moment you remove yourself, before me, I used to believe everything was spiritual. The spiritual controls the physical. That's why one pastor is able to make so many billions every year. Because if he lived abroad, he would be ringing bell, nobody will answer him. But because that is what you want to be told that Nigeria's problem is caused by witches and wizards. You want to be told that you are infertile because of witches and wizards. Meanwhile, now because you bench, do many abortions, now it make you infertile. You know, but you don't want to hear that.
I saw on the streets of Vegas, people they were preaching, Jesus is the way and all those things. They were sharing flyers and people were walking past them. Girls wasted all the poppy they show. When no wear anything, see they walk around and they do their markets. People still they move around their business, they do their gambling. Nobody they even thought they look the salvation area. As I passed, I just collect the flyers. Christian girl what be now. I mean you cannot be telling people they preach fast. That was not send them.
If you collect their flyer, if you tell them say you are hungry, they will give you food.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? They are more concerned about what they understand Christianity to be. Even if it is twisted, it is never in the way the African man understands religion to be. African man understands religion as his sole solution to his problems. Do you understand what I'm saying? So with that, we are left with, we have deluded people who don't know. I don't give many instances. Person get diabetes because of his lifestyle. Go tell you, say, they throw on diabetes as juju. You understand? Person will get...
And now that diabetes is that free, sorry. where be say they no control. Now you go get small injury for your leg. Yeah, the thing no go heal. Okay? Because of sugar's effect in wound healing. Then go say they don't
They
do
don't.
something for village. You don't step on
God will
something.
bless
Your
you.
leg don't swell,
Do you
don't
know?
big.
They'll tell you say want to phone into mama's sin.
Say
They
you
don't
don't
give you waiting go the
drop
rare.
something for road, you don't step on
You
her.
don't step
Your
on
leg don't
poison.
big.
They
Meanwhile,
never hear that disease.
now sugar where you no control though. We go come do one small injury where be say now even ants go bite yourself or spider or any little injury or
Finish.
cut.
That place go
Or
call
even
it's
nails, say
called it's
where you not cut very well, your toenails.
there's sometimes
When they go
those wounds go begin to
heal.
smell. They call it fungating ulcer.
Of course, yes, because sugar, diabetes is there, so it's not gonna heal. But they will attribute it
They
to
will attribute it to spirituality.
spirituality.
God go bless you. So when you have all those kind of instances, you now wonder which are the real ones. When you meet someone like me, for instance, if something happened before I go think juju, I don't first think party, logical, physical things. But when I
Same here.
cannot get an explanation to those 30 logical things, you get what I'm telling you, then I can now start considering juju. But I have also learned that seeing is deceiving. I used to have friends that are magicians. There used to be a guy that used to remove, if you give him 1 naira, he will throw it away and pull it out of a wall.
Well, I never give those people money. I feel like if you can do those magics, then you should make yourself rich. Because I've
Meanwhile,
tried to understand how they do that
it's
thing.
all the movement of their hands, the way their hands they move. So they will do like this.
Okay.
They somewhere for their hand. So what they do is they make you concentrate on their hands. So you are not, they want you to look at this hand, know at this hand. So when they join it together, they pick it. It's just illusion. So by the time you see that and you say, wow, you've seen magic. Meanwhile, what you just saw was a trick. Does not mean sorcery does not exist. You see, our biggest problem in Nigeria is too much prayer and too much Bible reading. The Bible reading is a problem because we don't understand it. We are interpreting it according to what they meant it to say to us. Meanwhile, that's not what it's saying. Then, when you spend so much time praying, you start believing that God is revealing things to you. Meanwhile, these are natural occurrences. I am in
Thank you
no
so
way
much. Thank
saying,
you. Thank you.
I am in no way saying that those things do not exist.
But we overdo.
As in, just know that in everything that is spiritual, 1%, 1/100, 9 be the spiritual. The remaining 99 are say personal do. Now you also need to understand that many of your pastors are heavy juju men. There are many of them are occultic. Many of them they bath for river. Many of them they collect power from marine kingdom, whatever it is they call them. And yes, those things exist. So they can do some minor miracles. Somebody who has been in a wheelchair all their life can get up and walk, but you follow the person go house, 2 weeks later, I don't return to that wheelchair.
I'm not only that, even people, for example, in the healthcare system. Let's say you just had a surgery or for some reasons something just happened and then you're unable to work properly. Even though sometimes they send them to rehab or send them home with home health. Okay? Regardless, we still weigh them down. We still use the wheelchair to send them downstairs, to take them out of the hospital vicinity. The fact that they sit on the wheelchair does not mean that they cannot stand up or they cannot walk. Or you're just trying to help these guys to go back gradually, rehabilitate them, gradual process. So you now come and take this person to a church, and then the pastor starts abracadabra, and this person who, of course, you and I know can stand up, can move, can do few steps, just that they are not stable enough to do it for so long, will stand up at that time due to the tension and whatever it is, the feeling at that moment. And you now start shouting, hey, the person suddenly started walking. Because that person's been walking the whole time.
And
Not.
yes, that's correct. And you see, you also need to understand that there's a lot of hypnosis going on. People can get hypnotized. And whether you like it or not, there's also the juju hypnosis. I've witnessed, it hasn't happened to me. I was in Romania when it happened. We sent we had this house girl. If she tie hero, you know what it be hero, rapper. If normal rapper, the rich person here, she go roll her own so that her rapper go be. it was just like she was looking for men to bench her. She just had that spirit of come and bench all over her body. Now, so one day she go market, we send her and go market, make she go buy things. She can't come house. The God way they save me be say, I keep my luxury watches either in the bank or in my safe. Most of them are in the bank, one or two. If I need, I go remove from the bank, bring home. But every once in a while, I go wash watch, just keep them for one side. But because I know the country, all my watches were locked up, either in the bank or the safe. But I had some Casio, some of those watches I wear normal, not be. This auntie packed everything. He get one Rado with diamonds where I buy for taste buds that year. This auntie packed everything, packed taste buds gold, packed everything, go give them. Eventually, we arrested her with police. You understand? I'm sure say the police to go bench them inside their cell because they bring away scared shots. You understand? This is stupid girl. She was benching somebody in one of our staff. As in, the girl was just a funny character. So what am I saying at the end of the day? That hypnosis is true. Another boy, Godwin, that used to wash my car. One day I woke up in the morning, I just heard Godwin shouting. As in, he was gisting my neighbor's driver with a very loud voice, and they were laughing. I was so pissed. So I can't call them, they rake them. I say, Baba, say I know they sleep. I know they wake up early. I sleep as they sleep for that kind 7:38. Which kind of nonsense shout be shout? They say, oh God, God save me. Say him and him guy go market, Jakonde market. See, they just Jakonde is the next bus stop from my house. You understand? So Jakonde is almost walking distance. It's not walking distance, but it's walking distance. If you can walk for 30 minutes, you will get there. It's just straight down from my junction. See, and there's a market there. So here and a guy, they waka, they come. Say some people just call them, say, please help us push this motor. They agree. He said that's the last thing they remembered. See, that's the last thing they remembered. See, from where they go push motor, they ask them for their ATM card, they bring her. They ask them for their PIN, they bring her. They ask them for their phone, they come out all the money where they their bank account. Can't tell them that they go. Even collect their phone. Say, they don't waka for like 15 minutes before their eye clear. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
I remember this now that it has happened to me before too.
Uh-huh.
Let me finish.
Mm-hmm. So it happened to my maid, and since then I've been extra careful with the children. I used to tell them that, look, people can hypnotize you. Be careful. Be
and that's
smart.
not juju. Is that juju?
I don't know if it is juju or hypnosis, but I studied hypnosis a bit, and you cannot hypnotize someone to do something against their will because their subconscious go kicking.
Okay.
Like for instance, I cannot use hypnosis. I cannot use hypnosis to sleep with you.
That phrase,
because
you
the moment it is against your will, your subconscious will kick in.
Exactly, that was what happened to me.
I don't understand how you can hypnotize somebody to bring you their ATM card.
For that long, right?
Yes.
Because you remember what I'm saying is this. Mine happened this way, right? I was trying to catch a cab home. And then that was on the 1st of November. So this guy just walked up to me, was like, oh, he just came right now from Cameroon. He's got lots of laptop, phones, blah, blah, blah. He came with, so he kept them with one reverend sister that he's looking for somebody that, a contact, that is no longer reachable right now. So he's looking for people that will just buy them off for any affordable prices because he needs to go back to Cameroon, blah, 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 blah. So while he was saying that, someone else walked past close to us and close to where I was standing. And the guy was like, oh, all these guys, where they bring all this thing from Cotonou. Oh, there was one like that. He even bought so many things for a very cheap rate. That what if, how about we go and see where those things are, see how we can help them help him make the sales and get some commission. So when he said that, I was like, oh, okay, you think so? I said, okay, you think so? Then I moved a step. For me to move one step, my mind was like, this is 1st of November. 1st of November. What are you doing? And then he just came back to my senses. Boom. I now stopped. He turned, are you not coming? And I looked at him. I gave him an F thing. And then they left me and walked away so fast. But I almost agreed. Like initially I was convinced. I don't know how I got convinced. Maybe because I wasn't paying attention, but I got convinced. I thought it was real. Like I thought it was true.
That is why if I'm alone, if I'm walking alone, and you call me and say, Daddy, please, I want to take a picture. I'll just do like this to you and keep walking. I would not entertain a conversation with you because you don't know whether it's hypnosis or you don't know whether it's juju or whether it's a combination of both. Because I can hypnotize you to come and then hit you with juju. I don't know what the reality of it is, but you all need to be careful. We've had Abby Baby. We had a house girl. She came and packed the whole house to go and sell. And no matter what, at the end of the day, they brought back one ring. Out of all, this boat was devastated. Till today, she has not recovered from the loss of the gold. Her gold. You know, taste buds, they careless that time. And they always tell her, buy safe, buy safe, buy safe. You understand? She would just leave her expensive jewelry lying around her room for her mind and her bedroom. So, is that jazz? I cannot categorically tell you it is jazz. But I can also categorically not tell you it is not jazz. So you just have to be careful. Those that experienced it will tell you that you'll be swept. As in, that's what the kind of people go do ritual. You will not enter bus, you'll forget yourself. Next thing, you'll wake up inside bush. You understand what I'm telling you?
That's really scary.
Yeah. It can be very scary. So people need to be very careful. There's a lot of wickedness out there. You understand? There's a lot of wicked. Some people say it is jazz. It might and might not be jazz. Now, they now talk about spiritual covenants. And this is a very, very, how do I put it? It's a very, very dicey situation born out of the ignorance of our parents. You see, many of our ancestors had spirits they worshipped. You understand? Many of our ancestors had spirits they worshipped. They had python spirits, they had river spirits, they had all sorts of spirits that they used to worship. And the spirits used to answer them. But you see, they always had some form of a covenant. For instance, you go and meet a spirit and say, please give me a child. I dated one girl like that. Her name was Cass. Apparently, from the story she told me, first day I saw her, I just said, you are a witch. The girl, fear, not talk to me. Do you understand? Then, after a while, we now started dating. She now said the statement, she said, you know I'm a witch and you are not afraid to date me. I said, wait, you are a witch, I'm a wizard. Let's continue. You know, but then she told me a story. She said her grandmother could not have a child. So she went to their village river and asked and said, please, I want a child. And the village goddess said, I will give you a child, but the child must serve me. The selfish woman now said, no, please, instead of my child to serve you, let it be my grandchild. So the woman gave birth to a child, lived her life, died, and the child gave birth to another child. That child now started having that winch problem. You understand what I'm saying? And then she now gave birth to a daughter. We can be this cast way. Me with her on the run parade that year. So, do these things exist? Absolutely. They exist in every culture. In Egyptian culture, in every culture, there are spirits, there are deities that people worship. But you see, the advent of Christianity has made those deities look like they are evil. Sometimes they are not just benign deities that just require you do one or two things, or they just follow you. It's funny. And some people are born with having the good part of those deities. That's why you notice that you date some girls, and once you begin sleep with them like this, your progress will not lock. You not go make money. You go just notice say everything they stagnant. It don't do me before. I dated one girl for 1 year. I had no tesiwaju. I did not have anything in my life. And the moment it was so bad, I did not travel. Normally, we they travel 5 times a year, 6 times. Sometimes they travel. What is 5 times? And they travel 3 times a month. At the height of my business, when that time there was no money there, but travel, I would go London 2 times a month, 3 times a month. I would go London twice a week. Go London, come back, go another London. Do you understand? 1 whole year, and that's why they look London like this. London, they look me. Nobody invited me for anything. The normal things they invited me for, they stopped inviting me for it. You understand what I'm telling you? The week I broke up with this girl, somebody just invited me to London.
But would you say, I would think there are people that are lucky in this life. There are people that are good lucks.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying.
And that's where I see it.
I've dated the ones that have good luck. Like that Cass own. Her own was, she was very demanding. And it was annoying to me. But if you gave her anything, that thing will come back to you. For instance, if she asked you for a phone, and the phone was 30K, and the way she will ask you want to slap her, she will be very rude, very extremely beautiful. Extremely, one of the most beautiful girls I'd ever seen then, before I met Stace Buds. Tall, curvy, everything, fresh, pretty. She will tell you, say, I need a phone. Why are you useless like this? I thought you were supposed to be my boyfriend. Give me a phone. They will talk to you anyhow. But once you buy them that phone, if it be the last money within your hand, you carry and buy on the phone. You know, go reach 3 days. You'll get, if you buy on the phone 30K, you'll get business will give you 35K. So that money go return, come put small change on top of for you. You will notice it. It might be confirmation bias. It might be one of many things, you understand, that could be psychological
Coincidence.
or coincidental or whatever it is. But you will notice it. It will happen frequently enough for you to see.
Daddy Freeze, I would say that, let me cut you short, yeah? My dad used to say that. My dad did a lot for the church, my hometown, even building and all those things. And he would always say, whenever he gives to the church, he gets it back within a space of time, ×2 of it. So, what do you have to say about that now?
That one, a confirmation bias. Let me tell you how confirmation bias
about mine. Because someone used to tell me I bring him good luck a lot. And for that reason, whenever, once I say it and it happens that way, he's showering me with lots of gifts. Would you say it was confirmation bias as well? Because I know I bring good luck and I attract good luck.
The church has wrung it into your head that if you give, you will be blessed. So it has the power of, let me tell you, I was having this conversation with my daughter yesterday. If you understood how powerful your mind was, your mind alone, Najuju. Just your mind.
And please, let me cut it short, sorry. This same shot, I know where you're going. This same father of mine will be the one to say that church is a politics. He will only do what he wants to do. If they have to replace the gate, he will replace the gate. If he wants to do anything, he will do it. He still don't also, he's not controlled by what people say or because you're preaching to him
Let me
that
tell
you
you
give
how
to receive. No,
confirmation
he's not
bias
controlled like that.
works. Let me tell you how confirmation bias works. And you need to go through psychology to be able to understand it and then to be able to work against it. I'll give you an example of what confirmation bias does is every picture, if you've ever seen a picture abroad of a fire situation, you will see a fire truck there. Do you understand what I'm telling you? So if I tell you that it is the fire trucks that are starting the fires, you will believe it. Now, everywhere you see a fire truck, you will believe that a fire is about to start here. I have used illusory correlation, things that are not related, to trick your mind into thinking they are related. And when you see any one of those things, you will tend to believe that the other one will occur. That is how confirmation bias works. Confirmation bias is when your mind, your untrained mind, is looking for information that will justify its pre-existing beliefs. For instance, if you believe that Daddy Freeze is an antichrist, I will tell you 10 things that are Christian, and your mind will ignore all. Then one day I will tell you that Christ is Lucifer. I said it, he's the antichrist. Because let me give you an example. If you are walking down the street and you see shit, you see poo on the floor, do you need to say, is that poo? Your mind automatically sees it and you avoid it without thinking. You don't think too much about it. Especially in like where you are, there are people that have dogs, Abby. And sometimes the dogs go poo for floor, the owner no go clean them. You go just see them, you just avoid them. If you're walking down the street and you see $100, your mind is not going to immediately know this is $100. Your mind has been trained to recognize poo as bad, $100 as good. Right? That's the way your untrained mind works. So your untrained mind is so powerful. Your mind is a microphone and a video camera that works 24 hours a day, even when you are sleeping. Your eyes are CCTV cameras that are on 24 hours a day. Your ears are microphones that work 24 hours a day, recording things that you need and things that you don't need. Then when you are sleeping at night, your mind now tries to arrange them, especially if it feels threatened, to try to warn you. That's how we have many of our dreams.
Exactly.
You notice that you will never dream of what you have never seen before. When you dream of what you have never seen before, you can now say you have an epiphany or a spiritual existence.
In your thoughts, your mindset.
But when you dream that your mother is going to buy, or you saw your mother don't buy, what it often means is you are walking down with your mother, your eye can see that she's not using her medication, but you are not taking, but your brain is storing it. You are seeing that your mother's leg is swelling. You notice it, but it's not important enough to you to make an issue out of it. But your brain is noticing it. Now you are surfing on the internet, or you are watching CNN, or CNN is playing in the background, and CNN is saying that people with swollen legs are a sign of kidney issues or a sign of heart issues. You're not listening, but your mind is recording it. Your mind is now joining what it heard on CNN. This is your subconscious, so you are not in control here. Your mind is now joining what it heard on CNN to what it saw with your mother. Then your mind can come together, put everything together and say, wow, this is danger. Samaria is not noticing this. Then when you are sleeping at night, it is now trying to arrange it in such a way.
They start playing.
Do you understand? So then you wake up and say, Mama, I dreamed that you are going to buy. Then
And
you
this is
take her
where
to
the
the hospital.
physical controls the spiritual, be the spiritual controls the physical
Comes in.
comes in.
So you
That's
now
where they talk
take
about. I
mama to the
know.
hospital. Say, how did
Mm-hmm.
bad dream? Oh?" Then they now say, Omo, you came in just in time. Oh. Your mother was about to have a kidney issue. But we'll quickly do this. We'll put her on this medication. We'll stop her from eating this. This. Then say, God revealed to me in a dream. It wasn't God, it was your mind. We don't give our minds enough credit. So the same way your mind works like that is the same way your mind will sit down. I used to believe in tithing. I used to believe tithing worked. I used to believe that the moment I paid, any month I don't pay my tithe, I will suffer. And I used to see it happen in my life until I started understanding what confirmation bias was, what illusory correlation was. And the problem with confirmation bias is your mind will only pick the signs and symbols that support its beliefs. So let me explain to you. The months that I don't pay my tithe and I make more money than the ones I do, I will never notice it because my mind is not trained to notice. I will only notice the months I don't make money and I don't pay tithe. And by the time you notice 2 or 3 months, you just put it together. Let me tell you how hard it was for me to stop paying tithe. When I first stopped paying tithe, I felt I was going to buy. Now, poverty stopped me from paying tithe. I did not have any money. I could barely eat. So I could not pay tithe. The first month I not buy, second month I not buy, third month I not buy. That's why I stopped. Let me tell you, initially in 2016, when I first started preaching against tithe, at the end of the month, I will still carry my tithe, go church. I saw that it was wrong. I knew that it was wrong. But I can't fear say, if I not pay tithe, my pikin can't go buy. If I not pay tithe, I can't go get accident. If I not pay tithe and rebuke the devourer, what if this thing that I'm saying that I believe is true? What if it's wrong? So I stopped paying tithe not because of my belief system back then, because I wasn't strong enough to believe like I believe and know now. I stopped because I had no money to pay tithe. So I was preaching it. I still paid it for like 3 months. After I started preaching that people don't pay tithe, so tithe is bad or it's useless. So I still paid 3 months. Then the 4th month, I not gonna get money to pay tithe. I not confident pay. I not buy. The 5th month, I not pay. I not buy. Then when I was able to do it for 6 months, I not pay. I not buy. Nothing do me. I can't get mine. I not can pay the 7th month with my own mind. Baba. That's why I
How
picked
could you have thought like that?
Sorry?
How could you have thought like that?
Because of what we were taught, because of what we listened to. Let me tell you something. When we were growing up, I grew up with my grandmother, my father, my uncles. Everything was prayer, prayer, prayer. God, God, God. Spirituality here, spirituality there. This, that, that, that. They filled my head with it. Do you understand what I'm saying? They filled my head with it. So because I have so much of it in my subconscious, when things are not working for me, I start believing that I didn't pray. God is punishing me. So when I left, and my father, uncle, and grandmother were Muslims. When I left Islam, I went into Pentecostalism looking for that same spirituality. So it had eaten me up. And that is why I tell people, be careful what your children's minds ingest. All of you right here, every single day, you don't give your children sausage because they say sausage they cause cancer. You don't give your children bacon. Bacon they cause cholesterol. You don't give your children this. You are all watchful about what your children ingest with their mouth, but you don't care much about what they ingest with their brains. Let me tell you, the mass, especially abroad, and also affecting Nigeria too now, the mass changing from one gender to the other was fueled using the media. you start to hear it to the point where you believe it's normal, it's okay, it's all right. You understand what I'm telling you? Plus the debates, plus the parades, plus the cartoons, everything starts to now say it so much that your brain ingests it. So before you know it, your children are born in a society that has created a subconscious acceptance for that way of life. You will no longer come accept them. Now you can be the bad person.
That's true. And this is yeah, it's also attributes to people that jump from one church to another looking for miracles. It's the same thing.
The reason why you are jumping from one church to the other looking for a miracle is because you believe that your problem requires a miraculous solution. And where you get that miraculous solution from, what you feed your mind. Just look at those children when they always tell them, say, this thing has come, this thing has come, this thing has come. They will always eventually follow that belief line. Look at Dr. John Jay that was here the other day, that was telling us about his experience. I was asking me questions about God. I don't know if you're doing that live.
I was there.
He said that. I asked him, I say, why you're saying Papa no believe in all this? So once you notice that, once you have somebody in your family that breaks that, if you have two parents, the two of them are telling you is God, 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 before you know it, everything in your life becomes God, God, God. And you forget that God put Adam and Eve inside the garden and said, go and tend it. You now have turned to a point where you're asking God, God, come and help me tend my garden. Which one is now your own work? So one thing I did for my kids is I do not allow my parents or my mother. My parents wanted to take my children to church. I would change them for you, not try them. This is what you did with our minds. I will not allow you to do it with my children's minds. I want them to be able to think. If they have a spiritual encounter, let them be able to have a clear enough mind to reason that it is spiritual, not that the first thing they run to is spirituality. Both parents on both sides, you cannot take my children to church. I will not allow it. I will change that. The way I will rake you and you go think, say, you commit murder.
This is what I was telling somebody the other day, was it 2 days ago, that I believe the way I see Christ is a spirit. It's something that has to do with your heart. And from my own understanding of this Christ, this God we are talking about, I feel he's a spirit to me. And most people who don't understand and who don't have him, this is why they wallow. You see people with all the money they have in the world, they are still out there doing so many things, trying to find inner joy and peace and happiness because they lack it. They lack that spirit, which is God. You don't just go around seeking him. It's between you and your soul and your spirit to agree and accept him. I mean, I don't know, but the phrase I'm telling you, this is my own understanding of Christ-like. Yeah. And, when it comes to the way I perceive Christ, it's like a hole deep down your heart that, I mean, how about you look at people of all the money they have, maybe they find pleasure or the only thing they think is what would give them that satisfaction is maybe they go begin to carry children. Still, they're not satisfied. You see people blessed with nature, blessed with so many talents, but you see them going astray, doing things they're not supposed to. Some of them now, they do bad things. We say money by right is not even what they're supposed to be doing. They're just out there seeking those things that give them those temporary pleasure. You understand? So until you accept it, which is spiritual related, you will just feel that vacuum in your heart. That's my own understanding of spirituality.
Let me ask you a question to go against what you just thought. Okay. Chinese people don't believe in God. Do you want to tell me that?
Because I say spirit that it frees. Because it's not the God that we are all talking about. It has to do with your spirit, your connection.
Yes. Now you can call it God. You can call it a form of spirituality.
Exactly.
You see, I understand where you are coming from, and when you have a relationship with God, a true relationship with God, when you are able to build a relationship with God, you will have that peace of mind. I understand that. But you see, there are people who don't worship any God and still have that peace of mind.
Because they found their own spirituality in themselves. They were able to establish it without even knowing there's a God that exists. We talk about it God is because we hear about God, because we are brought up to know there's somebody known as God. But there are people who don't even know about God, but they have this peace of mind because they were able to find that connection deep down their spirit, their soul. They have it already, so they are satisfied. That's the way that's my own understanding, right?
I agree with
For
you. I want to
real.
ask you a question. If two pilots are flying, this happened to one of the flights in Nigeria recently, is what you call a wet lease. You know what a wet lease is? They bring the pilot and the crew from abroad. So the plane works is like, say, Chachangi Airline, but Chachangi Airline rented the plane and the cabin crew from abroad for 1 month. So they're just running, but they're abroad. One of the pilots is a Muslim. The other one is an atheist. So they ran into some technical hitches. The main pilot was atheist, doesn't believe in God. He was just trying his best. The co-pilot was Muslim. He was reciting Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, while the entire cabin was filled, had turned to crusade. Jesus, Lord Jesus, oh Jesus, oh Jesus, Jesus forgive us, Jesus forgive us, oh Jesus. They eventually landed safely. Who saved the plane? Is it the Muslim pilot who was reciting La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, or the Christians that were praying, or the atheist captain who was taking the decisions? Answer that question.
Okay. Is one plane correct?
Yes. One plane
Okay.
has two pilots. The captain was atheist.
Very free. Even the Bible that we've listened to, that we are taught, says that prayer without work. Okay.
Now that particular verse, when they say prayer
work
without
prayer.
work,
Work without prayer.
no, it's faith without works, not.
Oh, sorry.
Now you need to understand that particular rendition. What he was talking about was not work as in you are a nurse. No, it was talking about the works of the law. You see, you need to understand that there were two distinctions in scripture. There was the James faction that believed you needed the faith in Christ and the law of Moses, and there was the Pauline section that believed that you only needed faith. So the works of the law are you must obey the law of Moses. You understand? When you're on your period, you cannot pray, you cannot have contact with people. You understand? You must do certain things. That's the law of Moses. But the Pauline doctrine is all of that was done away with. So when you see that in scripture, it's not talking about actual physical work and then faith. No, it's talking about the faith, a combination of the faith and the law, which was a more James induced. And if you see that, it's from the book of James, is from a James perspective. And Paul, on the other hand, said, no, you don't need the works of the law. You just need faith in Christ. So we have to be, that's one of the biggest problems we have in Nigeria. We don't understand this Bible. We just read it and try to interpret it to our own situation. But yes, you are also right. You actually need work if you are going to have faith. But I want to ask you a question, Samaria, today. Is it possible for me to be a billionaire without prayer?
Of course, yes.
Okay. Is it possible for me to be a billionaire with only prayer?
No way.
So which is more important?
What is important is, how do you pray? What do you consider prayer?
Let's come back to the question, and I'll ask you in another direction. I'll ask you in another direction. If someone like Elon Musk, for instance, he's atheist, irreligious, better put. Elon Musk does not pray, does not believe in religion, does not serve any God. So is it possible for you to work like Elon Musk did without praying and become a billionaire?
Steady phrase. It's a tough question you're asking me, right? But let me tell you,
No,
is it possible to work like he
possible?
did? Mm-hmm.
Is it possible?
To work like he did without praying and becoming a billionaire?
Yes.
Prayer is okay. Let me answer your question. It is possible, but prayer is my own form of communication with my creator.
Good.
If you choose
No.
not to
I'm trying
communicate
to
with your
remove
creator
prayer.
and
I'm
just
trying to
work,
remove
that's up to
prayer
you.
from an equation. I'm trying to remove prayer from an
Okay.
equation. You are right. So I want us to put prayer in its equation. There is no prayer in success when it comes to money. It doesn't exist there.
Just
Because
5
you
minutes and
can
have
become
it.
the top 10 richest people in the world. They are either not Christians or they don't believe in God. You understand? So you can't do it with prayer alone. And you can do it without prayer. It means that prayer is not important in that equation.
But that freeze. You know that these people don't pray does not mean they don't have a way of communicating with their nature and whatever it is they believe in.
Some people don't believe in anything. Like when you're agnostic, like Warren Buffett, for instance. Warren Buffett, agnostic means God is not in control. Yes, they believe that there is a God, but he has no
What if
say
they
in
believe
your
in
everyday
the
life.
moon? They believe in the
Some
sun.
don't
How about
believe
somebody
in any
comes
of.
out?
You see,
Okay,
that's the thing.
okay, but the freeze. How about somebody comes out and looks at the sun? Oh, this sun is beautiful. It's an admiration. It's a way
But
you've
it
already
doesn't pray
appreciated the
to it.
good. No, but you've already appreciated the good work of God or nature, whatever
Some
you
people
call
don't
it.
believe that God
But
made the
the fact
sun.
that you come out to
Hold
enjoy
on.
that sun and admire it
Some
is a communication.
people
It's
don't believe.
Thanksgiving.
Some people don't believe that it is God that made the sun. Many scientists don't
If
believe
be
that God
anything,
created the sun.
you know, even the water that we drink, right? That somebody, you know, is thirsty and gets a glass and feels, oh, this feels so good. I just feel welcomed right now. It's an appreciation to the creator and the maker, regardless of what you believe or who you believe invented it. I mean, just like
You need
somebody
to.
saying, oh, money
You
does
see, the
not give
problem is,
money does not give
bring you back
happiness.
home again.
But it brings
Because you
happiness in the
grew
life
up,
of people
hold
who
on,
are poor.
because you grew up believing that everything has to do with God. Most scientists don't believe that anything has anything to do with God. They don't believe in creation. They believe in evolution. They don't. So when they look at the sun, they are not admiring it because God created it. They don't believe God created it. They believe in the Big Bang Theory and whatever else it took to get to where they got to. So you've also got to create a space in your mind to understand that it's not everybody that has the foundation of God thinking, oh, it is God. Oh, God did this.
That
Some
is,
people
I
don't
didn't say
believe.
God. That's why I say, let's say, for example, even if you are to attribute it to science, okay? Even if, let's say, for example, you just flew an aircraft and then you landed peacefully and you like, oh, the flight was smooth or the weather was favorable. Regardless what you think or, you know, where it's coming from, the fact that you're able to acknowledge, because you don't tell me that these people don't acknowledge the good deeds, regardless of where they think is coming from. The fact that you're able to acknowledge that thing is like saying, you that don't believe, okay, let's say me, for example, that if it's right. Let's say I made all these things, okay? And you don't believe that I made these things. Like, you don't even believe whether I exist or not. And let's say you just flew an aircraft and you made it home. And somebody asks you, oh, how was the flight? Oh, it was good. The weather was good. You've said it just casually without saying or thinking that I made it or I invented, you know, whatever, attributing it to me. But the fact that you've said it with your mouth that it was good, you've acknowledged my good deeds. For those who think that I did it, is my creation. You've acknowledged it. That's why I say.
You see, there's a difference between having a form of spirituality. There are some people that don't have any form of any spirituality. There are some people who believe that they are in control. There are some people who believe that they make their bed and they lie in it. And there are not some, there are many people. You see, people from Asian and African backgrounds tend to believe in God, but people from European and especially European backgrounds, they have zero belief in. Some believe that there's a God somewhere and he does some things. Some don't believe in any God. They just believe that, look, the society is working, it is working. And what I'm trying to tell you is, you need to understand that, and this is where we Africans lose it. You need to understand that God has given us dominion. When God created Adam and Eve, he said, I give you dominion. Means you have total control. It is not me, it is now you. If there are any failures, it is you. If there are any successes, it is not me, it is you. And that is why countries who have less of the God thinking are the ones that are more successful, because they have taken dominion. Now, if you look at it, God gave Adam and Eve dominion, but at the end of the day, Adam and Eve sinned, and he ended up banishing them from the garden. Then you look at it another angle. Noah's people sinned. He ended up giving them a flood and wiping them out. But after the flood, God said he will not do it again. And over the years, God has been removing his hand more and more from the affairs of man. And when he gave us Christ, he gave us, from the Christian perspective now, he gave us what will stand in, how do I put it, as a representative between him and us.
That's why we have rights and
Yes.
the wrongs. It's left for you to
And
decide.
if you look at the life of Christ, Christ did not come and save anybody for this world. He came to save us for the world to come. The thief on the cross, I forgive you. He did not disappear from the cross and end up in a beer parlor. He stayed quiet. Christ said, this night, you and I will be in paradise. He did not say this night you'll be back to your house. So we need to understand that the salvation of Christ is not for this world. It's for the world to come.
That's
because
right.
Lazarus was resurrected and he still died.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, the salvation of this world is not in the hands of Christ or God. It is in your hands. So when you live in a country where they take more and more good decisions, you will have fewer and fewer accidents. Like in the country where you live in.
Of course.
Even when you have accidents, you have helicopter, you have hospital, you have this, you have that.
But they don't have fewer, they have a lot. People know they hear what.
They have a lot of accidents, but you will survive. You are more likely to survive an accident there. You are more likely to survive a major accident in the US than a minor accident in Nigeria, because they have taken control. US is not a godly nation. They just have God on their currency. If you go to China, it's even worse. So you need to understand that we need to separate the spirituality, which I'm glad you have, and I share that spirituality because I'm a Christian. But I also know that God has less input in our affairs than we attribute to him. That's why, when I teach these things, people don't listen. They would rather come and listen to the gossip. I said something the other day. I said, you are in control, not God. God instead is going to give you direction, give you revelation, and give you instruction. And his own ends there. How you use the revelation, the direction, and instruction now depends on you.
Let me ask you this question at the freeze. Let me throw you off now.
Good.
If you know this, why then do you sometimes expect these pastors to perform a miracle?
Because I know they can't perform any miracle. I know. Let me
Why
tell
do
you,
you not
I know
them when they
100%.
perform miracles and the person eventually buys?
I know 100%.
Why do you not tell some of them time to raise the five?
I know there is no Pentecostal pastor in Nigeria that is capable of performing a single miracle. So when I say it, I taunt them. I know. Onyeka Onwenu is in the morgue. She joined Mr. Ebu, who joined Mobad. None they can raise, none will they ever raise.
Because they can't do it. That's the thing.
Do it.
Because God has made it in a way that they cannot do it. but some of us believed and think they can do it.
So
you
when
see?
when you hear me say, Nigerian pastor, why are you not doing miracles? It's because I'm taunting them and they look for their mouth. Me, I know. Say nothing with if you do. Oh, sure, you. Let me tell you, when I started fighting Nigerian pastors, it happened at a time when even I was worried. They used to, Mary Gold has said it, they used to hold night vigil praying that something will happen to me. Are you ready? You know, me too, I'm joining you now. You understand? Mary Gold said they used to gather and pray against me. They used to gather and pray against me. At the end of the day, what happened? Did anything happen to me? No. So I knew from a very early age that what they have is mouth. They don't have any spirituality or any power. It is just the fact that millions of people are stupid enough to believe in what they are selling. That's all.
I agree. You've done well.
Someone said,
thank you for
it's not in their power to, but God can. Let me also tell you something. There are two things about God. There are things God cannot do. The Bible is clear. Hebrews chapter 6 says, it is impossible for God to lie. If that thing you are expecting God to do, God will have to lie. It will not work. He can't do it. So he can't do anything that involves telling a lie. Number two, there are things God can do but will never do because they will disrupt. Let me give you an example. God is not going to come and give the trophy to Nigeria that did not practice when there's Portugal that are practicing 365 days a year.
Thank you. Even the miracle, Daddy Freeze, when the Pharisees, when they captured him and they were going to throw him up the mountain, why did he sneak away? Why didn't he wait for them to throw him and then he hang himself like this?
Land himself. You understand? When the devil said, throw yourself down, the Bible says you will not cast yourself against your foot against a rock. Why did he say, do not test the Lord?
You.
He did not
Why
say,
didn't
throw
you
me down. He said, the same Bible says, do not test the Lord your God. So much of what we believe is faith is actually testing God. So it's a long thing, Sama baby. Thank you so much for joining me and enjoying this conversation.
Thank you for the lecture.
May Onyekanwenu's soul rest in peace, and every single celebrity that has passed, Mohbad, Junior Pope, what's this other guy's name? Mr. Ibu, all these celebrities that have passed on.
And non-celebrities, our loved ones
and
that we've lost as well.
Too, that we've lost, that no pastor could raise.
Thieves, our friends, our family members.
I remember when one particular celebrity died, everybody was like, they went to that altar where their pastor shouts every morning, praying, making plenty money. They were shouting and just they look there, they laugh there. Say, look at these fools.
They find trouble. They tell you find trouble for this.
You see, did I lie? Let this pastor show us one person we know where they don't raise. Not be the ones where they tell us, pastor say, carry on Osinachi, go hospital. Congo, they raise people for another country. Why you carry Osinachi where they sing for your church, go hospital? Why you not heal them? I said, how do you people believe all this foolery? You understand? How do you believe all this foolery? All of you say there is God, there is God. Yes, there is God. But God has not raised anybody in this Nigeria. Prove me wrong. Show me the person. Let's start with our celebrities that all of us know. Many of them are members of these churches or these prayer services. Many of them attend and they did not raise them. So they did it. Mumu yourself.
They love their pastors, not what they say. Once they love someone, no matter what you do, you're right in their eyes.
You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
Once they don't like you, no matter what you do, you're wrong in their eyes.
Show us walking. We want to see. God bless you, Brother Shupo. Show us this walking. We want to see walking. So, my dear people, good night, everybody. Lovely hanging out with you. It was fun gisting with you. It's a tough work I have to liberate you from the foolishness of your parents. Sorry, I'm going to say it is extreme foolishness. And of all our parents, that's how we're all raised. We're raised to be foolish. were raised, and that's why our country is not working. You pray, then you run to Canada.
5 hours, 6 hours in a church praying.
There are people in the UK who ran to the UK to do COS work. In Nigeria, they will give you work on Wednesday. Weekday, Wednesday. You will tell them that that's
from Monday through Friday, you're working. You're in a church.
They will give you work on Sunday. They're not born your mama, may you not go.
Not go parents.
Don't you go to work on Sunday?
Yeah, normal. For the last 6 weeks now, I've been working every Sunday back to back because I prefer weekend. I don't like working Mondays. I like to work weekends.
If you're even an essential service and they give you Sunday shift, if they're born your mama, no go. Especially those of you in the UK that are looking for COS. Do you know there are no shifts now? Some people are being deported now because there's no work for them. They now give you work on Sunday. You say that's the day you want to pray. And let me
you go church, you go day 5 hours.
Sunday, you see,
church close, you go fellowship for house.
Of
Monday,
all the faiths, the most deluded faith I've ever seen, in my humble opinion, is still Christianity. Christianity is the only faith that the Bible debunks them. You will see. Let me give you an example. Sunday worship. Show me an example of Sunday worship in the Bible. It does not exist. Meanwhile, you will see Friday worship inside Quran. You will see it inside the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. White wedding, church wedding. Give me a biblical example. Anywhere in the Bible, show me a Bible, a church wedding. It does not exist. It is the only religion that the practice of religion is debunked by their own book. It doesn't exist. Sunday worship in church does not. Going to church on Sunday is entirely man-made. Has nothing to do with God or Bible. They pick the day. They say, okay, this is the day that we want to be worshiping God. It has nothing to do with scripture or faith. And why? Because of, you see, you need to understand that they were quarreling against those who were practicing Judaism. So because the Judaism had their Sabbath on Saturday, they did not want to share the Sabbath. They wanted their own day. So they chose the day of pagan God worship, Sunday. This is a fact.
Worship the sun.
So when you look at the Bible, Christ himself observed the Sabbath. But Christians don't observe it. As it is the least. Islam is more biblical than Christianity. That is the funny part of it. Islam is more biblical than Christianity. Christianity is the least biblical faith. If you look at the Bible properly, understand it properly, you look at them, you see that they practice 0.1% of what is actually in the Bible. Shades of Grey say, wake me up in November.
Don't go sleep. Good night.
Good night.
All right.
Good night, everyone. See you all tomorrow.